You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Mina.
Hey everyone, it is the center of attention, Brittany Brooks, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Come on over, Zeppelin. I'm being a. See, earlier I said something stupid to him, and now this is my receipt. Okay.
Sabu's just sabotaging you.
Yep. He sure did.
Hijacking.
Yeah, he's taking over.
Hijacking is a better word. You're right.
Good luck.
Shout out to Simply Reliable Studios making their Symphony debut, sponsoring this match and the entire Dragon Kai demonstration.
Heyo, this is Jack Cartwheel. You are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Noah. I believe in Datula.
The Meltzer of the multiverse. Who the fuck wants to compare themselves to another? How much of a mark do you have to be? You couldn't even pick a professional athlete. You went with a fucking journalist? Grow up, man.
We just want to say thank you to Simply Reliable Studios for voting us as Tag Team of the Year.
Of course.
Because you know what they say, right? If you can't swim, you're bound to drown.
Tonight, she is sponsored by Simply Reliable Studios from Orlando, Florida. She is everybody's favorite BFF, Izzy Marino.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the weekly moderated insanity known as the Shenanigans here across the Simply Reliable Studios brand of channels. It is I, your moderator extraordinaire, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, back in the host seat, joined by the Island of Misfit Toys, the Simple Man Noah Foster.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back here once again to the Simply Reliable Studios. You know what this is? Brand some brand, the voice of that's for favorite fall-face professional wrestling. Damn it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in the rest of the panel. First and foremost, my partner in love with the bed in AEW. We call the rest of the life and probably upset stomach mindset for some other stuff tonight. There's, of course, Mr. Reliable, Simply Reliable, in true original form, Walter Cruz.
Ronda won in literally 17 fucking seconds. She tackled Gina. Gina fought a little bit. She turned to the side, got that armbar, and she tapped. Literally 17 seconds in the first round.
Well, at least I know I can last longer than Gina Carano. We've got one half of the Canadian connection and a man who just got done doing some hockey coverage with the Scat Boy. Nick is here. What is up, sir?
Why were you guys talking about boobies for 45 minutes?
Theme of the week, today's.
She's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash. That's actually elegant and not fake. Hello, Ash, how are you?
Enough is enough. I've had it with these motherfucking AEW wrestlers winning my motherfucking New Japan title.
Make sure you tune in every week because you never know who's going to drop in to join the Shenanigans. We do have the man who started it all. Jeff Meacham is with us.
I'm impressed with what's going on at the JCW. I'm happy for Russo. I'm happy for Vito. I am a viewer, again, when I can get home and sit my ass down for a half hour, whatever it is, and enjoy that shit.
Popping out before midnight virtually on this app. It is my cohort as fellow gamer and crazy wrestling watching aficionado, Charles Schultz, will also be joining me tonight in the fray as I welcome you into the Shenanigans once again at the end of this fine Saturday.
I just want to keep seeing Mr. Guana show up every single time and just Polyaska. I'm still agreeing with JJ. We still need that freaking multi-person puppet match.
A puppet is not a competitor!
Sex dolls are competitors if you go to the right company.
Teleporting in via the morphing grid, our very own Pink Ranger is here.
Hey,
everybody. You know, I know the firing of Scott D'Amore was controversial, but I feel like he needed to go in order for TNA to grow. Don't get me wrong, we had some good stuff under Scott D'Amore, but the company was just stagnant. And you know, look how much they've grown.
If this is what it took for her to acknowledge some of my NXT talent, and I'm here for it because we know she doesn't work Tuesdays. So the fact that she watches Thursdays and is still getting exposed to my talent, like, hey, something happened, right? She told me the other night that Trick and A was some of the best stuff in TNA.
Yeah, I actually really did like Chicken A.
I was completely shocked and blown away to discover it was Chad Gable under that mask. I had no idea. I would have never guessed it. I never saw it coming. This was just mind-numbing. This was like the reveal that Juan Cena was John Cena. I never in a million years would have guessed that Chad Gable was going to have that.
Is Fleet ever going to lose that title?
Well, you know, everyone can be a dickhead, but how strong of a dickhead are you is the real question. I have a pretty strong dick.
I'll take your word for it.
Good night, everybody. Hopefully no one else heard that.
Cool.
Jeez, back in the madness again. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to the weekly moderate conversation wrestling madness. That is the Saturday Shenanigans. Hello, everybody, and welcome back here to the Survivor Studios in conjunction with the NotiQ Galaxy YouTube channel. And this is the Saturday Shenanigans. You know what this is, for I am the man of the simple brand, the voice of SOS, for grateful for all things professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noah Foster. So thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend if you want to dictate the conversation. Super chat or Paper the Passions. It's as simple as that. But I am never alone, as there will be a gaggle of fools joining in soon enough, at least for the time being. It is for now. She's yours. She's mine. She's our Canadian friend and the better half, Ash. Hello, Ash. Early Cashy Boss. How are you this evening?
I'm good. I made it back in time for Shenanigans because we were out of town visiting family, and my dad doesn't like driving late at night.
I don't blame him. Again, exercise precaution when you drive beyond sunlight. That's all I got to say about that. If it's not creatures or the other fools on the road, it's literally your own friggin' mentality, your own vehicle against you. But good to see you. And overall, good to see everybody here once again in and out of the chat, shadow forecasting or stalking on YouTube or the X. As always, the Fet, one of the first to always give us subtle hello. Good to see you, my friend, and thank you so much. By the way, thank you for those that tuned in to the return of the simple session with the Cement and the Bat. We will be doing that again here in the near future. Stay tuned across Bad for Wrestling, the Cement's brand. It's as simple as that. Well, that being said, Ash, I guess we'll talk about stuff. So we, of course, have had this week on the road to SummerSlam across the Fed. AEW is forging forward through redemption as we go all in. Stardom now is truly at feckless crosshairs. TNA, what impact there is left? And then, of course, the independent scene, there's still so much more going on across all things professional wrestling. So I think first and foremost, Ash, how are you this evening? Have you engaged in any professional wrestling since the last time we conversated?
Nope.
Good answer. Good girl. All right. Good start. So, without further ado, Simply Labo Studios community, NotiQ Galaxy YouTube channel enthusiasts, professional wrestling fans, and sports entertainment ongoers. Let's get right into it. It's going to be short, sweet, and simple unless the other compadres join the scene. Otherwise, this might turn into another imposed session. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. I kind of already missed my Saturday sleep. After the fireworks last night, when I didn't have to deal with you yahoos, and I came home at 11:10, straight to bed, it was much more enjoyable. Now I'm here. But so far, this is tolerable because I'm with you. And you seem more sensible than some of the others, at least when you're by yourself. But also, you're becoming more into your own, speaking on your own behalf, and getting more comfortable speaking as you are on any YouTube channel as yourself, as you should be, damn it. Let's go ahead and kick things off with a little bit of a recap on Saturday night's Saturday night's main event from Madison Square Garden. For those that don't know, of course, it came in tonight from the Mecca Sports Entertainment, Madison Square Garden. It was, of course, called by me and Mr. Reliable, Walter Cruz. He will be joining the Shenanigans a little later, folks. Stay tuned. If you haven't already, subscribe today to the Rage of Wrestling right here on YouTube. And again, don't be a dickhead. Subscribe to Ash's channel, Bad for Wrestling. Overall, the atmosphere was electric. I thought the show was all right, but it wasn't an international host show. It was domestic. But at least there was some solid developments ahead of SummerSlam and a lot of basketball kiss ass, which was absolutely pointless unless you're a Knicks fan. And I'm not. And I'm not even a sports fan. I'm indifferent. F sports. Good girl. That being said, we started off tonight, of course, with the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Paige and Brie Bella Raymond. They defended the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships for the 5th time. First time ever against Fatal Influence. And there's a good back and forth action here. Of course, Jessie Jane, much like Nikki Bella at WrestleMania, was instrumental as an influence all the way to the finish. Found Henry shedding a little bit of red after, I believe, Paige caught her with a stiff elbow. I think she busted her tooth. But nonetheless, it was a slow back and forth action. Laney Reed found Henry really coming into their own, coming across the tag team scene. Despite the fact they recently lost to the champs, much like the ways that the champs were able to survive against the Invisible Forces last time I saw this main event, with roll-up for leverage, Jessie Jane's most needed, it seemed, influence and timely influence. Reverse momentum on the hold and outside the referee's peripheral with a deep grab of the types. And Brie Bella literally taken out of play. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, not going to happen with Jessie Jane's on the scene. Ladies and gentlemen, we have brand new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Don Henry and Laney Reed of Fatal Influence have seized the gold. And Paige's run is over with Paige being the one pinned for the first time since returning home to WWE. What do you think about that development?
I love that. Now we need to give Jessie Jane the U.S. title. All 3 of them can have gold because I love those 3 bitches.
Tell us how you really feel about the Fatal Influence.
That's what I love about them. They have like such nasty mean girl energy, but you're supposed to. I just love to hate them, and I love Jessie Jane. I love her so much. Like, I know she's like the biggest bitch in the whole wide world, but that's what I love about her. Like, she knows who she is and she plays the character well. So you have to respect it.
Fair take, whether you agree with the character or not. And I mean, again, that just seems like WWE's desperate measure of trying to freaking create the beautiful people or Toxic Attraction 2.0. But nonetheless, with Jessie Jane's leadership, guidance, and influence, Laney Reed finally finds herself a champion in WWE, and Fallon Henry finds herself a WWE Women's Tag Team Champion now for the 2nd time in her WWE career. Congratulations to both of them, and again, congratulations to Fatal Influence for Paige and Brie Bella. Has the page turned on this homecoming into what could be a nightmare that you should have fear? Because again, Nikki Bella, much like WrestleMania, it was a third person's influence that decided the decision at the end of the day. But we also know champions usually get contractually obligated rematch, so it wouldn't surprise me if this happens prior or at SummerSlam. Stay tuned for more on that.
Yeah, that's a possibility. And also, I like, say what you will about Death Rebel. I love Fatal Influence's theme. It's so good. It's one of the few Death Rebel bangers that they have.
Still an F grade. Like Jim Johnson says, what is music nowadays but noise? What is noise is music. What is music is noise. There's an oxymoron theoretical question for you folks to answer in the chat.
Ooh, I love oxymorons. They're one of my favorite literary devices.
What?
Easy for me to say.
Remix. Words are hard. Coming soon to a store near you. Shop at Caitlin.com. All right, very good. Well, that being said, while your tongue might have been twisted, JD was once again kissed at the home of the Knicks, where, okay, I'm not even sure what to call this. Tomfoolery, shenanigans, carny nonsense. The mini-me's, worse than Vern Troyer, showed up again in MSG. Must not let them at the factory. Dominic Mysterio was heavily involved. It was Knicks mockery. And then it was a giant Knicks man, not the Muffin Man, some sort of person that Walter knows. Because, again, I don't know jack shit about the Knicks. Don't care about them. He ruled the day after giving both JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio a chokeslam through a table. And that was all she wrote after the triple D, the reverse DDT on JD, was basically JD's undoing in this no disqualification match, but the curse is ongoing. Danhausen won, simple as that. It was shenanigans. It was tomfoolery. It was entertainment, I guess. It was a spectacle match in Square Garden as Danhausen tried to mock the Godfather in his video package with the font. As simple as that. All right, you crazy bat. You're all about that tomfoolery sometimes. And the fact that Danhausen is cursing the Judgment Day and JD McDonough particularly, where the head might grow beyond his freaking shoulders. What do you guys say regarding that?
This sounds like a segment I have to look back on. Because it sounds like something I would enjoy.
I think YouTube will have you covered with a 5-minute segment, much like Mr. Reliable has you covered with the watch-along recap part B. As of course,
Have we talked about how hard your dick is yet? Because when you two are alone.
Nova just got here. We don't need to add let him get the phone out yet. Okay, we just started.
You're right. We did just start. And you know what? You know what happens when you instigate me and give me one first moment of BS, tomfoolery, and nonsense? Do you know what happens when you all do that?
Oh no, not the phone.
You all know what happens when you all do that.
We make the list.
You also lose 10 minutes. That being said, Walter, talk about Danhausen and Mickhausen as we're talking about Saturday night's main event.
The match that didn't need to happen is just catering and kissing the New York Knicks' ass. But that's basically what it was.
All right, well, there you go. That's all, folks. Pookie Pig, go ahead and send us off. Oh, and go. Okay, that's it. Anyway, Walter, your take on Fatal Influence now being the influence in the WWE Women's Tag Team Division. Go ahead.
Love it. I called it. I feel like they're going to have the rematch on SmackDown. Paige will lose, thus bringing Nikki back, and they'll turn on her, and she can have her solo career.
I mean, turn the page. Why not? I mean, that's a fair shout. But speaking of turning the page, from one girl from the UK to another one from Dublin, Ireland, a vicious, ravenous raven, quoth the former Lyra Nevermore, came forward at Madison Square Garden and got bloodied, battered, but destroyed Bailey. Walter, talk about Lyra Valkyria's metamorphosis, what was definitely one of the most aggressive showcases we've seen out of the former Aloy Valkyrie since she arrived in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't been successful since losing the Intercontinental Champion, being the inaugural. She got help from Bailey. They became a team. Then they started losing, and she flipped. She blamed them. She blamed them for losing all opportunities. She lost her last opportunity of getting the tag titles, and now she's going through this Dark Angel metamorphosis. And boy, was it turned on to 100 tonight, May. And I feel like we might have another Becky Lynch situation because the blood made her look badass. Becky hit her with a crazy elbow that was just right on the bridge of the nose and instantly gushing blood. But it did not deter her. I knew this was going to be a different Lyra. I said she's going to start doing ground moves and be more of a submission specialist and not do her high-flying moves because her wings have been cut off. And that's pretty much what she did. She kept it grounded, submitted, took Bailey out. This new kind of snapmare bulldog takeover into a submission where you literally crank up on the neck. Bulldog
choke, modern variation, sideways off the body.
And won the match, but that wasn't all. It was the after-match shenanigans, pun intended, that really turned it on as she hit her with the stairs, did the choke there again, just beat her to hell to the point that we don't know when's the next time we're going to see Bailey. Because she literally took her out.
Yeah, well, according to all the backstage segments, Walter, Lyra said, after tonight, I will be done with Bailey forever. And she left a very emphatic exclamation point with interest after the match with the Nightwing on the steel ring steps, incapacitating her to the point that she turned purple as she stood over her literal unconscious carcass. She was rabid.
Would it be interesting if these ladder qualification matches for to get the interim title will be open to all brands? Because Lyra, I could see Lyra squeezing herself right into that ladder match and just elevating herself because she's on this kind of roll and this nasty streak. She can win a qualifying match, and I can see her fitting right in there. I mean, why not? CM Punk was a Raw guy and got the WWE Championship, right? And then switch to SmackDown. So you can open that brand. I would include all brands.
Well, brand split, LOL, but to your point, she has been on the Raw brand now for literally over a year, lest we forget. Because, again, last year in January, of course, where she made history, becoming the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship. In fact, I think she's only been pretty much on Raw since being on the main roster. So I can see that. But, yeah, Ash, basically a new Lyra Valkyria came forward, darker, more aggressive, and technically proficient. And despite the fact that she was kind of fighting from underneath, it was Bayley who was once again conveyed by concern and emotion. And Lyra exploited it using the ring to her advantage, heavily working over her head and neck, including that suspended top rope guillotine leg drop when she was suspended at the second rope. That one front shot, though, as we talked about, with the Okada rope, was Bayley's undoing as she went for that new hold and literally turned Bayley purple.
And I think Bayley had a split second of mercy when she saw the blood, and then that's what messed her up. It really screwed her up. Bayley had that one sense of feeling bad and having mercy, and Lyra took full advantage.
So, Ash, as we look at Lyra Valkyria's career reset, honestly, what have you thought about hearing about this character development that's been basically, in Lyra's words, stewing, boiling, and finally coming to light in darkness after over a year?
I like that. This is a much needed change of pace for her. And a lot of people have complained, many people's complaints about Lyra is that she lacks character. She's one dimensional. And this would give a whole new layer and let her show some personality.
A whole new world.
Not copyright. Well, I mean, again, like I said, sometimes in this business, you gotta be selfish. You gotta go into it for yourself, but you gotta figure out a path to it. After calling Bayley basically a doorstep, she basically broke that door down and slammed it shut behind her, leaving Bayley out to pasture. So we'll see how Bayley comes back, if she does, or at this point, is Lyra going to soar to new heights, preying down upon anybody she wants for murder? Because in my opinion, this is not a Valkyrie. This is a Raven bent on blood and looking to take it on everybody she can in her pursuit of what she believes that she can be. This was a ravenous change. And again, long overdue, apparently, in Lyra's mind. All right. Well, as we move on from there, of course, we go into what was the main event of Saturday night's main event. Not a Nick's Kicks-Ass party, but Cody Rhodes and, of course, CM Punk teaming together. Can they work together? Can they coexist against the Lean General Gunther and, of course, Sami Zayn? Where Gunther and Sami Zayn won the main event match at SummerSlam for the Undisputed WWE Championship between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes would be a fatal four-way. Vicious, aggressive, desperate, completely all the way down the stretch as both sides were clearly working quite well together. Extremely impressive how well Sami Zayn and Goop were working together, but considering the opportunity that was at their grasp, considering both men have been screwed in their own ways and their own mindsets, maybe with a little bit of accuracy, by both Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, quite prolifically, it was very back and forth and aggressive down the stretch. And also blood was drawn here too, lest we also forget. At the end of it, though, what turned into a complete kerfuffle eventually led down to Charles Robinson getting crushed by Sami Zayn, coming in with a desperate plea, driving CM Punk's body underneath him, preventing a cover by Cody Rhodes and Gunther, and all hell broke loose, including the fact that Gunther was isolated with Cody and clocked him with the Undisputed WWE Championship, looking to pin the man that this all started against. And as Gunther was waiting for the referee, who was charging down for the Bittersweet Symphony against that singles account that everyone's been collaborating for, this close until the national treasure, Nick Aldis, had enough and interfered, pulling the referee out of play and clocking Gunther in the face with the Undisputed WWE Championship right into literally CM Punk's beckoning arms for a GTS, and Cody pulled by drag carcass by Punk into the cover, while all of this brought the original referee in the ring, and it is truly now official. It will be Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk for the Undisputed WWE Championship one-on-one at SummerSlam. Gunther and Sami Zayn are out because Nick Aldis screwed Gunther, and I think you just got the next career that Gunther is going to kill. So your thoughts on this development?
I love that we're getting Gunther versus Nick Aldis. Give me my sweet European slugfest.
I called it.
Now, how long ago did you call it, Walter?
Ooh, I think they were before WrestleMania, because I felt like that's what they were working to.
Well, for the longest time, we thought they were going to do it with Drew McIntyre because Drew McIntyre was the first one to really instigate Nick Aldis. Not to mention, Nick Aldis was the one that put Drew McIntyre in those situations against Cody Rhodes when it came to defend the undisputed WWE Championship before Drew lost it. And Drew's been MIA since WrestleMania, so that's unsanctioned fight against Jacob Fatu that he lost. But the fact of the matter is that we have two things now. A match truly defined by two of the greatest traditional wrestlers, the former NWA World Champion, of course, the former Magnus in TNA, and of course, the Reign General Gunther, who's the definition of throwback in orthodox style, keeping it away from the world titles, including the Undisputed WWE Championship. This match I'm looking forward to. But more than that, finally, after 2 years worth alone of teasing and confrontations on roads to WrestleMania, prior to the Royal Rumble, waiting and waiting since both these men's second comings to WWE returning home, we now finally will see who's the better of the two for the gold. Not WrestleMania, but the summer's WrestleMania. CM Punk defends the gold against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. The funny thing here is CM Punk went in last year as challenger, won the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther, and Cody Rhodes went in as challenger, won the Undisputed WWE Championship from John Cena. We also know that both these men have been the undoing of Sami Zayn and Gunther. More emphatically, of course, CM Punk sees the title from Sami Zayn, and Cody Rhodes made sure that Gunther never won the championship. So now we finally get these two one-on-one where CM Punk, after that promo after WrestleMania on Raw, said, you never know whether WWE might just fruit ride for you or fall right beneath your feet. And we saw him in Chicago, and it almost feels like the roles were reversed what you thought was going to be this match, and the stage was changed. End of the day, Cody is challenging for the second year in a row for the Undisputed WWE Championship for what would be his fourth run. You know, your favorite WWE superstar. And CM Punk now goes into this SummerSlam as defending champion. But like WrestleMania, he lost. So again, does history favor the Second City Saint or QB1? Stay tuned, folks, in 2 weeks. Again, ask your thoughts now on that being the official match for the WWE Championship.
I have a feeling Punk got the title so he can trade it to Cody, so that way we can build Sammy versus Cody at WrestleMania.
Saudi Mania. But I don't know if we're going to get that. Speaking of WrestleMania, there were developments regarding WrestleMania week next year for the Fed. As of course, they won't be in Vegas. They will be in Saudi Arabia. Good luck to every American trying to travel there. Highly unlikely in all likelihood. But they are going to stand deliver with NXT inside the theater in Madison Square Garden during that WrestleMania week. So at least there is something here in the States. So you do get something from the Fed here in the States, folks, during WrestleMania time, but just go to every other company. They're going to have far more, I'm sure, not just in New York, but just in general that week. I'm just saying. But
GCW, you got your GCW.
Keep going.
You got your Produce.
Keep going.
You got your Dragon Gate.
Keep going.
You got your whatever
New
Stardom.
Japan.
Keep going. Stardom, Smart Josie, New Japan. Keep going.
ROH possibly.
Keep going.
You know, other promotions that I can't think of at the top of my head that you guys know about.
FCW.
Yeah, let me go ahead and get my list out here. Let's see. You name that.
Pro Wrestling Sympathy.
Yeah, them too, yeah.
Sympathy wasn't even beyond the conversation, but I like that idea a lot. Let's see here. You got Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling.
Or that, yes. How can I forget about them?
We got to find out what's happening with Lucha Underground.
I hate that tease. I want definitive answers. Although MLW is another one. Yes, folks, I'm literally checking these all off on my list of professional wrestling promotions. If you know one, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Simple as that.
Glee.
Glee is another. About to say.
Is Glow still around?
Is Glow still around?
Glow.
I don't know, but I know WoW is. But WoW
Progress is still around, though. You got Progress.
About to say, you do have that. All right, that's enough naming promotions. All right, top 10 answers on the board on Family Feud. Anyway, oh yeah.
We should do that. We should do a pro wrestling Family Feud for Shenanigans.
If the people want it and we have the participants, I'll do it. Simple as that. Oh yeah, and Triple L will be there as well. But Triple L's with NXT. They sleep in bed together. It's all good. I think they're going to have their own show, though, actually. So yeah, that's fair, Symphet. Which brings us to our main event segment. Kiss Ass Nicks. Basically, some jabroni got a belt, got endorsed by Roman Reigns.
Jalen Brunson, the MVP.
Yeah. Walter, why don't you go ahead and bring the ESPN highlights to this Sports Center segment, please?
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
So Jalen Brunson was shown walking through MSG Garden, the backstage area, taking longer than Roman Reigns in any entrance ever. Then he got to near the Gorilla position. Well, the doors before Gorilla. Roman Reigns came out, asked him if he's ready. Cue Roman Reigns music. You know this takes 15 minutes to accomplish. They acknowledged each other and pointed up in the sky about 16 times before even hitting the ring. And then show the title. So then we get in the ring. The whole topic was pretty much they showed a package of they gave Jalen his own intro, how they do the starting lineups during the sporting event.
Yeah.
So they did that with the Knicks. And then Roman got the mic, talked Jalen up and said this was for him. And he acknowledged him, and then he asked the crowd, MSG, New York City, to acknowledge both of them. Then there was a custom New York Knicks WWE title that he presented to Jalen Brunson, and they were showing off the title when Seth Rollins' music hits, but it was Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana Pacers guard, who came out, which I knew they were going to involve them because they both, Jalen and him, love WWE. I knew there was going to involve them.
Sometimes I hate when you're right, by the way. Continue.
I know. Then Seth Rollins came actually from behind, waffled Roman. Got him in. Tyrese brought a chair with him. He made Tyrese bring the chair down. He put it in position to stomp Roman onto the chair, but Jalen Brunson blocked it and didn't allow Seth Rollins to hit Roman. So then Roman recovered, hit a Superman punch over Jalen Brunson, and he got the best of Seth Rollins, speared him. Him and Tyrese retreated, and then they brought in the Larry O'Brien trophy, which is the trophy you win when you win an NBA championship. They gave that to Roman. Roman put the title around Jalen Brunson's waist, gave him the World Heavyweight title too. So basically, they were acknowledging each other, and Roman was holding the Larry O'Brien trophy up in the air while Jalen Brunson held the World Heavyweight title and the custom title around his waist. And that's how they ended Saturday Night Main Event.
So yeah, basically an NBA guard stopped Seth from curb stomping Roman's head in the mat for the second time this week. And that's how we end in MSG. Good night, everybody. Ash thoughts on this very dull build-up segment for Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
I mean, they're tied with ESPN, where you're going to get your sports involved somehow. So
Good call what it is. It's kissing ass. The only ass here that's not Vince McMahon is the big-ass E in ESPN's logo.
I mean,
they're not loyal to New York. Whoever won the championship, they would have booked Saturday night in that arena. They would have did the same thing, kissing ass.
You know what? That's a fair tangent.
It's partnerships. This is bound to happen because, sometimes when you do partnerships, you gotta. I'm not even gonna go into that now.
I want you to. But that being said,
sometimes one company gives more than the other company. Japan. Sorry.
You know what? The definition of giving has many different definitions, but the giving in the wrestling business, there's those that give what you actually want to see given, and there's those that give why you wonder what you're watching they're giving. And I'm going to leave it at that. Simple as that. But that being said, that was Saturday night's mid-event, and for what it was worth, I like the development with Nick Aldis versus Gunther, pretty much just waiting to be officially booked for SummerSlam. A lot of our curious metamorphosis, and congrats to Fatal Influence to our new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. The rest of the show, forgettable. Walter, your closing remarks and your simple takeaway from Saturday night's main event at MSG.
It's okay. It's C pluses in terms of a grade, but it had its moments. The Danhausen was really just a fun thing to bring out Carl Anthony Towns from the Knicks, but other than that, at least there was some good fighting and wrestling and blood. All the blood was accidental, but shit, it added to it. But Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And of course, Ash didn't watch, but she gave her baddie takes based on our feedback. And I'm sure she'll go look at the highlights on YouTube, which you all can also do here at Simple Studios in the archives, an alternative watch along, or if you choose to follow the Fed's YouTube channel. That being said, as we segue into another topic, because guess what? There was no itinerary. I'm not going to do the Seinfeld thing because non-copyright, but I am going to keep it to the Fed since we're talking about it, because there was another thing they did mention. So I figure since we are 2 weeks away, let's give our outlook on the current SummerSlam card. To help everybody, I found this graphic courtesy of RKO Universe. Here is what's ahead for you folks so far at the biggest party of the summer without Nick Oz versus Gunther made official yet. We now, of course, know that Roman Reigns will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth freaking Rollins and hoping to close the book on the Shield against the one man he has yet to beat one-on-one in action. Period. We now officially know it will be CM Punk versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes for the undisputed, Walter, look at the graphic, undisputed WWE Championship. Again, folks, that is the undisputed WWE Championship. I remind you, this is the title. It is undisputed in the WWE environment as the cornerstone of this company.
You just took 10 minutes off my time.
Undisputed WWE Championship. We also know...
fun.
You know, words matter sometimes, and sometimes words are just to make something feel more important than it's not. But that being said, we also got Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, Queen of the Ring, of course, for the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship after winning Queen of the Ring. And we have Penta versus Chad Gable. You are seeing that right. For the first time in I don't know how long, Chad Gable is challenging again for the WWE Intercontinental title. I can't believe they actually gave that man the win in the gauntlet match. That actually surprises me. Now, will he actually win this championship? Stay tuned. Fortune cookie, Magic 8 Ball, ask again later. We also know that Brock Lesnar and Obafemi will go to war one more time and what hopefully will be the rubber, the definer, as Obafemi pushed away a championship opportunity to finally conquer the beast in post-retirement. But this time, there will be no excuses, apparently, as it will be inside Hell in a Cell, courtesy of Brock Lesnar. And last but certainly not least, we have a six-man tag as LA Knight. Teams up with that graphic is not Photoshop, folks. Do not let it fool you. Solo Sikoa and Royce Isaacs in a six-man tag against the Bloodline. The Usos and Jacob Fatu, after everything that has come forward when it comes to everyone against the Bloodline once again. And that is so far your SummerSlam card, not including what we will talk about in our next segment that I'm going to bring forward. So before we go into our next segment, Walter, your thoughts so far on the SummerSlam card?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have from 4 to 6, and we're possibly going to get a 7th with Gunther, although they might.
Remember, SummerSlam is 2 nights, so you can expect at least 7 more matches total.
So it should be 10 total.
10.
5 for each.
5 a night. I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of do go all the 5 and 6, but then again, one night's going to be over advertisement, the other night's going to be wrestling. So I mean, there is that to be fair. All right, Ash, your thoughts on the SummerSlam card so far? Give your batty take.
So I'm looking forward to Penta versus Gable because I like both of them. That's going to be a good match. Io versus Liv, that's going to be fine. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Roman and Seth Rollins, and if Roman can finally close this chapter and actually beat Seth Rollins because he has yet to defeat that man.
Well, things eventually come to an end, much like the Undertaker streak. So again, we'll see what happens. But then again, like I said, what happened after WrestleMania? Roman, Oba, names were spoken. Match yet to happen. Obafemi still has technically a championship opportunity. He just chose not to do that at SummerSlam. He just chose to beat Brock Lesnar to make sure he's once for all retired.
So he still has the title opportunity.
I'm pretty sure he does at this point. I'll be shocked if he didn't.
Okay, because a lot of people are making it sound like he relinquished the title, his opportunity, just to challenge Lesnar.
I think he just postponed it because he felt like that Brock Lesnar is not going to let him have that championship opportunity without him screwing him.
Okay, that makes more sense because if he just flat out relinquished it, then what was the point of the tournament?
Exactly.
At that point, you should have had freaking Jey Uso win it if you were going to do that.
Right. Is it bad that I'm looking more forward to the Intercontinental title match more than all the other titles.
No, because that title's important. It's an important title, and it's about damn time it feels important.
Yeah, they actually making it.
It's supposed to be. I mean, I'm just saying.
I just want Chad to get his final piece of singles title. I love Penta, but I'm sorry, dude.
I mean, look, there's a time and a place for everything, and there's a time and place for everybody, it feels like. And honestly, if Olafemi actually did relinquish the so-called championship opportunity just to freaking destroy Brock Lesnar, to make sure Brock Lesnar's not seen again, because honestly, once Olafemi overcomes Brock Lesnar, does Brock Lesnar need to offer anything else or any other match, honestly, in WWE? I really don't think he does. That's just, my thoughts on that. I'm just saying.
True, because what else is there for Brock Lesnar to do? Because he's literally done everything.
And been in the ring with everybody that he chooses to be with. I'm just saying. But
Well,
nobody else, I guess he's having fun with him, I guess. So there's that.
Although, has Brock Lesnar won the mid-card title?
No, he's always been a world champion. You know that.
Okay.
There's never been with him but world championships synonymously. He would never lessen himself. Good to see Lily, by the way. Appreciate you. And again, I do think of him, he still has the opportunity. If he didn't, then let's retire King of the Ring, because obviously you don't care about that. Because what you've done is you've squandered an opportunity for somebody on the cusp to get a chance to be maybe potentially shine as a future superstar in WWE, where other places are actually trying. Much like we'll talk about when our Redemption hype up maybe later tonight, if not next week on Sleepy Predicting. Stay tuned for more on that. So Fat with a thought here. What if Ola comes out to challenge the winner of Roman vs. Seth match tonight too? I mean, both men have pride. Both men right now want to prove they're the best. I guess that's the way you can segue. But let's be honest. In WWE, they know what they can do. They can book someone at any time, and people will buy into it because there is that flock of sheep that follows the herd. And then there's the strays that choose to go their own way, whether they're captured by wolves or they continue to eat green and pastures on their own. That's how nature works. And that's honestly how the rest of it works in this business.
What do they have booked in September? Have they not announced it?
I thought it would be Crown Jewel, but much like you said, Money in the Bank's in October, so I have no damn clue.
Because maybe they'll say before the Money in the Bank title. Like at Money in the Bank, he can challenge Roman.
Yep. I mean, again, Money in the Bank, you hope something of merit happens there, but we'll see. That being said, there is one more development I neglected to mention. I think we can go into a deeper conversation when it comes to the fact that for the first time in who knows how long, the word interim has graced the WWE landscape for one of their world championships. As it was announced, Rhea Ripley has effectively been removed from play due to injury. So now an interim. Look at that big word, by the way. Interim WWE Women's Champion.
Which then leads to what? ... Interim equals undisputed. That's how you get to undisputed. You don't just fucking slap a name on it.
To be fair, they don't call it Undisputed WWE Women's Championship, but it might as well be because that's a big W.
Guarantee they will after they've crowned the interim. They're gonna make whoever that is face Rhea, and then that'll become the Undisputed Watch.
Well, tell that to Liv Morgan, who apparently shines brighter at the ESPYs than in a WWE ring. I don't know. That being said, that's also hindsight, but I don't care who I piss off here. But that being said, again, as you read it, due to Ripley's injury, an interim WWE Women's Champion will be crowned live match at SummerSlam, as WWE official Adam Pearce has created these qualifying matches. So far, 2 women have qualified, and yes, one of those women is already a champion. The WWE Women's United States Champion, Tiffany Stratton, and for some reason, that bitch is back in the championship picture. The other 3 matches have yet to be determined, but one of these 5 women will be the interim WWE Women's Champion, determined in a ladder match at SummerSlam. So that being said, outside this graphic where I'm like, really? These are the 2 that you chose?
I do know that this Friday, Nia Jax versus Charlotte is a qualifying match. Whoever wins that will be the 3rd person.
We know that Charlotte Flair, the queen, has been looking for that crown for a long time, and she's not a champion right now. And that one actually makes sense, and she's never won a ladder match, I think. So that might be another first for Charlotte Flair. At this point, I think Charlotte Flair should be the champion at this point. Say what you will, at least she's consistent. That being said, that bitch is back in the fray. Why? And Tiffany Stratton, love her, but you're already holder of the United States title. Can we get Julia? Can we get Blake Monroe? Can we get... Oh, wait, Jessie Jane lost her eliminator. Can we get Alexa Bliss to finally maybe seize a chance? How about Chelsea Green, who's still the most underrated wayfaring character in the entire WWE women's ecosystem? Damn it.
Chelsea needs to get her belt back.
About to say, or get a better belt, better belt, bigger belt, deserves the better belt. Or, again, like I said, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Even Timu Baddies, freaking Muchum and B-Fab are looking for a damn bone that hasn't been how the meat off the stick yet. Like, seriously, what? This is grasping for straws. Much like Walter said, you might as well put Lyra Valkyria on freaking SmackDown at this point, because God knows they got nobody. There's a reason why Rhea Ripley was moved to SmackDown. They got no damn body. Anyway, Ash, your thoughts on this, and who do you think should be the interim WWE Women's Champion, or who you want to see involved in this ladder match?
I would like to see Chelsea in the ladder match. Charlotte Flair would be. I'm okay with Charlotte Flair because she does very well in ladder matches, even though she hasn't won one. Maybe Julia get back in the title picture. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, who have they built up to become women's champion on the SmackDown brand other than Rhea Ripley?
You just so funny. WWE building up a woman.
Well, to be fair, NXT right now has a chance, not the best roster right now in the WWE ecosystem, and has the wrestler right now of women's wrestling at their foray. If they book her and don't fuck it up, just saying, Kendall Gray is the future, much like what John Cena endorsed. So we will see what happens soon enough. Ironically enough, I just remembered that. That's right. Hey, you guys remember last year's SummerSlam? That was your WWE Women's Championship match right there. Those two in the graphic. They've literally defined each other over the last calendar year. Give me an effing break.
All I just know is that whoever becomes champion, I hope they get a proper title run and they're not just a placeholder champion until Rhea comes back and wins the match and becomes champion again.
Ash, interim. Enough said. Interim.
Yeah, because we've all seen how that.
Honestly, they have a unique opportunity. What they should do is open it to all brands. You have these deals. Let a TNA person get involved in this. Let a Triple A person get involved in this. I make it a big deal that you were forced to do an interim title. And make a negative into a positive. Like imagine you start using the NXT, the AAA, the TNA roster, and actually have this because you really didn't build anyone up. Why not take opportunity?
Because WWE has more money that they can put forward besides effort. Just saying.
I mean, that's a good idea. I mean, why not? Sure, why not have like a TNA person win a WWE title or a AAA person win a WWE title? Because why the hell not?
Because that doesn't sell SummerSlam tickets. Remember, folks, this is SummerSlam, not a B-rated show for Worlds Collide with WWE partners and soon another to be WWE Farm, it feels like. Just saying. This is
I mean, you know how popular women in AAA are, though? You could have Reina Dorada. You could have La Catalina.
How many people are going to say, who are you? How many people are going to say, who are you?
A lot of people are going to say that regardless because people are dickheads on the internet.
Well, this is not the internet. This is the live audience. Yeah. But you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
that being said, I'm not expecting anything big from this. There's a reason it's interim. There's a reason they moved Rhea Ripley to SmackDown. They lacked that face, and now that face is injured. They're grasping for straws, and that's why they're going with the two most notoriously recognized names on SmackDown, not named Bianca Belair, who's still on pregnancy leave. At this point, you're grasping between Charlotte Flair, Timothy Stratton, and Jade Cargill, and the rest, you can only pray and hope that someone fresh comes to the scene. What we Jessie Jane? She lost her. Jessie Jane lost. Well, yes, we do. But again, Jessie Jane won't be because, again, she lost to one of these two. So, again, we'll see what happens. Hey, maybe Paige can actually do it. Who knows? Or Brie Bella. They're no longer tag champs. I mean, again, if they don't go for the rematch at SummerSlam, which they most likely will, because, again, we're going to need 5 matches at least a night, it's an entire opportunity. So, we'll see what happens. But that's SummerSlam so far, folks. So stay tuned to see who else qualifies for the interim ladder match for the WWE Women's Championship, as well as seeing how Nick Aldis versus Gunther is officially booked and what it means for Nick Aldis being the ongoing screen character of the SmackDown roster as the general manager. I've probably been doing a pretty damn good job, honestly. But Adam Pearce has ran both shows before. I guess they might literally be looking to do that again. I don't know. And again, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE title. Who is the better of the two? Who defines their legacy in 2 weeks? Stay tuned. But that's SummerSlam, and that is Saturday's main event. And honestly, that's all I got left for the Fed, unless we want to dive further into Roman Reigns, Pacific and Rollins, which at this point we could literally turn that into an autobiography. I'm sure that will probably happen on Super Dicting in 2 weeks.
I wouldn't mind that. Like a choreography between like Rollins and Reigns. I would love that.
I'm sure you
Bring
would.
me some Shield lore, please.
Well, only if it's narrated by the last member of the Shield that apparently is more successful than both of them, considering he helped upstart a company, and that's Jon Moxley in his own mentality. Because I consider Jon Moxley the most dynamic of the three, because he literally did things his own way, and at the end of the day, the alternative is thriving through that way. Whether you agree with the type of mentality and the type of direction or not, there's a reason AEW still exists, and why they seem to be in a better place more than ever, with a hungry and determined roster being pushed to their potential. But that being said, that's a whole different conversation. And maybe we'll go into that after this short commercial break, as I'm going to probably turn things into the elite side of things when we return to the Shenanigans. So stay tuned as we look towards redemption, as we forge towards All In after this commercial break on the Shenanigans. Stay tuned.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And as always, here at the Super Lava Studios, we truly encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to all the wrestling. And welcome back in here once again to the Saturday Shenanigans. I am your impromptu host for tonight's festivities of Utter Madness that have been so far tamed, minus the 10-minute penalty. As we got our Canadian friend Ash and Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, and all of you, of course, have been following along in the chat as you continue to allow the conversation to come forward. That being said, we looked at the Fed. Let's look at the other side of the coin when it comes to the other biggest player in professional wrestling business, doing things their own way. How you'll know. Because I am all in and I follow AEW on a regular basis, much like I follow everything else professional wrestling business. Before we talk about redemption, I just want to go ahead and bring a little bit of a highlight when it comes to a little bit of all elite altercations, as Stardom is still very much at Fecla's crosshairs with the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart and Sky Blue and Fecla seizing their trios championships, the Artists of Stardom championships, seized away from God's Eye earlier on the show today. Congratulations to Sky Blue, who is finally a champion. Congratulations to Julia Hart, and congratulations to Fecla, no stranger to these three titles, which I believe will have implications in the Stardom fall season as they prepare for their 5-star Grand Prix, and Thekla, of course, prepares to defend her AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale. I wasn't able to find a great picture, but bear with me, folks, and go along with it. Let's look a little bit at the AEW Redemption card. As, of course, next week will be AEW Redemption from July, just look at the people, July 26th from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And we will be covering here some of those studios, as well as having, of course, Simply Predicting. It will be Kenny Omega versus the Jet Kevin Knight, challenging Kevin Knight if he still has it, or if he just feeds on Don Callis' shit and is his bitch. For the AEW World Championship, Thekla will defend her chance to go all in against Willow Nightingale, where, of course, Mercedes Moné awaits the win on the other side. Cajun Cope take on Death Riders, the Bastard Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli to AEW World Tag Team Championships. And, of course, the Death Riders have targeted the tag champs alongside the Dogs. And, of course, the Dogs right now are being hunted by the Bang Bang Gang. Switchblade Jay White took possession of David Finley's Shillelagh. Kyle Fletcher and Bandito fight over the AEW International Championship with a little bit of a backstage altercation as the Protostars targeted the Most Wanted. Mark Davis Dunkzilla will defend the AEW national title against Andrade El Idolo. Oh, you know. As he looks to seize gold from all members of the Don Callis family. And the Paymaker returns. Chris Jericho looks to take Tommaso Ciampa into his world. And we'll see who claims their moment. Also made official tonight. Spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1. Hikaru Shida, of course, debuting her new submission. I'll talk about new submission holds, of course. The best in Shida, after leaving Harley Cameron out indefinitely with that modified bow and arrow, was able to overcome Queen of the Night. And Maya World has stepped into the plate. It will be Maya World versus Hikaru Shida for the TBS Championship. That and more matches more likely to come this week on AEW Dynamite, which will be the go-home, as I believe we're up to 7 matches so far. Not a bad card for what feels like it's going to be a turning point for some altercations in the Don Callis family, and maybe try and add a little bit of a different idea to the dynamics we will see for the AEW Women's World Championship and the AEW World Championship, with the Bruv waits for the Cleaner or the Jet on the other side, and the CEO awaits for Willow or Thekla on the other side. That being said, Ash, subtle takes so far with AEW Redemption, their first Redemption pay-per-view this coming next weekend. Your thoughts on this card so far?
I like how they're continuing the tradition of having the TNT champion challenge for the AEW World title as a way to elevate them, much like what happened with Kyle Fletcher, even though he has yet to be in the main event scene, but people are still seeing that the potential there, even though, sure, like he's international champion.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Too many belts, but it's okay if you are, of course, confused.
Yes, because people are like, I get why they had Kyle Fletcher beat Takeshita for the international champion, because Takeshita is doing other things elsewhere right now, so he can't really defend the title like Kyle Fletcher can.
And stay tuned. We'll talk a little bit more about that, folks, when Ash will give a little bit of a baddie breakdown on G1 Climax recap, based on our opening day, as we'll, of course, talk a little bit about that since we covered that last weekend. Continue.
I love that Bandito's getting showcased, but at the same time, it's just, he's ROH champion. So, I mean, I get that he's heavily featured. I love that he's being heavily featured on AEW, but at the same time, it's just like, he's an ROH champion. You got to do something with him down in ROH as well.
Beach. Well, Death Before Dishonor is right around the corner, so I do see your point there. Continue.
Tekla versus Willow, I'm looking forward to that match because I know it's going to be very solid. However, I have this feeling that the reign is going to end for Tekla, which makes sense, so that way she's more open for doing her stuff down in Stardom with the Sisters of Sin. Although, at the same time, it just gives me the impression that they're going to have, I know this is like an early prediction, but I have a feeling that they're going to have Willow beat Tekla, so that way they can get the title on Mercedes without haltering Tekla's momentum, because the heel versus heel dynamic in that situation is not going to work, although it has, but I don't see how it would work with Mercedes and Tekla. And if Tekla does lose the title, she can do her stuff down in Stardom and finish that chapter and work on building up to Starlight Kid's faction that they're feuding with.
And Neo Genesis. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And of course, Starlight Kid, you know she's hell-bent on revenge after Fekla embarrassed her and seized her mask. All right. Any other further thoughts to add? What about Will Ospreay, John Moxley? How does their tag team cohesion come into play when Moxley says, when it comes time, you gotta be willing. I know you'll be willing to take the shot. Oh, speaking of shots, I did forget about one more match. So we're actually up to 8. So far, John Moxley and Will Ospreay are undefeated as a duo. If we've seen the build in their chemistry, I believe they are 3-0, if not 2-0.
Oh, wow.
They're going to be in tag team match of redemption against the Young Bucks.
Ooh, that's going to be quite the tag match.
Or a message to maybe Kenny Omega.
That too, yeah. Given the AEW Triforce that we have.
You can just find them on that conversation on Simple Session. Or
Yes.
maybe we'll bring Walter into that and he can pick a Triforce.
Oh,
Because
yes.
that is a fun
Both men and
topic. Yeah, $50 follow-up if you finish your thoughts, but continue.
There's Copen Christian, or as I like to call him, CNC Concerto Factory, taking on the Death Riders. Yeah.
Well, they beat once it already.
I mean, I don't see him losing the titles anytime soon. Not until All In, anyway. To who? We shall see.
Okay, fair enough. Nice batty take. Walter, first and foremost.
AEW.
Wow, okay, just freaking. All right, that's it. Nothing further to have, Walter.
No, she got the nail on the head. I would like to know what happened on Dynamite because I didn't get a chance to watch it. So, what happened on Dynamite that leads to this?
For the first time, I didn't have to cover it. I'm just glad I got to watch on the fly because it was a great show from Boston. Hell of a treat event. Fuck it. I'll go ahead and give a simple recap. All right, so AEW Dynamite kicked things off hot and heavy, and I mean that quite literally as we got immediately into the action, as AEW only does. It kicked off strong as we had, of course, Kyle. Well, actually, let me take that back. Because, of course, with the Boston, so Mercedes Moné was the main event. It was an electric atmosphere. Oh, that's right. Carrington Cope kicked off defending the AEW Tag Team Champions against Daniel Garcia and what's his name? Daniel Garcia and Willa Yuta. Thank you, Scrappy Yuta. I always forget that dumb kid's name. Thank you very much. There was a back and forth. Christian Cage with all the shenanigans, of course, and somehow the tag champs were able to retain. Great timing with that pop-up into the short-range spear. Death Riders came on the attack immediately along with the Dogs. However, the Bang Bang Gang fended them off and stole David Finlay's Shillelagh. Video powers for Carl Sheeta, of course, after taking out, of course, Carl Sheeta with that new submission he's calling the best in Sheeta. And then, of course, you had a video package for El Idolo, ending with his traditional phrase, how you know. The man and Lethal Trios apparently are working together to take out the conglomeration, maybe go after the Trios championships. And Andrade El Idolo had a banger against Jake Doyle. Jake Doyle is a beast, a freak of strength. But Andrade won and has earned, of course, his AEW national title shot against Mark Davis. A humble championship celebration for Kenny Omega, talking about what this means, what led him to this, and then got interrupted by only the Jet Kevin Knight, as well as was in the ring, hyping this up. And basically, Kenny Omega, he not only taught up Kevin Knight in what he believed that he can be, but he has it, but also that Don Callis is a piece of shit. You don't need him. But basically, Kevin Knight is feeding on that pool from that leech after he says, I don't need you talking to me about how good I am. And he sucker punched him and ran out of the ring before he got hit with a hidden blade. And then before we knew it, all the Goonies of the Don Callis family tried to come down before the Death Riders kept them at bay. Figured about fight for another day when it's in your favor. Again, the Death Riders are right there protecting Will Ospreay, much to Kenny Omega's surprise. Again, this Triforce at the forefront of it. Brodito, was able to beat Nick Camarado and Aaron Solo. Protostar Kyle Fletcher was able to beat Commander. And then Kenny Omega, of course, gets confronted by both Darby Allin and John Moxley. So you can tell how far that went, of course. But Darby Allin, of course, is hell-bent on one person here, and that is Kevin Knight. The Birds are back, much to my happiness. Jamie Hayter now it's Windsor from a hater. As the went to go get pissed again with Renee Paquette in a pub. Go figure. They're in Boston. They drink, they fight. And they're just waiting for the next time they get to kick someone's ass. Again, watch out for the Birds. That's all I got to say when it comes to a certain two Colossals. Yes, same. Kyle Fletcher felt disrespected and challenged Bandito, as you talked about with that match. Kevin Knight had a conversation with my Billy saying, you don't have to tell me anything. And then we had a hell of a main event. Mercedes Moné and the AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions, Divine Dominion. I love their entrance. One from hell, from Hades, from the underworld. The other one descending from Athens. Coming together in the middle. Megan Bay the Colossal in a cross with Mercedes Moné were able to beat Willow Nightingale, Myrwood, and Hyam, with Hyam being pinned with a Monet maker in a very hardly contested main event. And that was dynamite. So overall, it was just a very fun, action-packed, electric atmosphere in Boston. AEW Dynamite that pushed a lot of narratives forward with Okada subtly in the background, by the way, of Kyle Fletcher making that challenge. After Kenosi Takeshita tried to deck Kyle Fletcher, and Okada decked him with a Rainmaker. So clearly no love lost there with double or nothing. As we force towards redemption. So that's your quick Dynamite recap. Definitely go watch the show if you can. HBO Max or the actual segments AEW on TV. Highly recommend it. But anyway, now you got that, Walter. Back to redemption. Besides just AEW, your outlook on this card so far. 8 matches.
And there's probably going to be a few more in the pre-show, in the 0 hour, and all that. But I'm looking forward to it. You know what's interesting? The Kevin Knight dynamic of being a heel now. I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of liking how he is now.
Really?
Yeah, I like where they're going with his character, and he's pretty brolic right now. I want to see where they go with it. How far are they going to take him? I don't know.
Well, again, we'll see how far this jet can fly before it's grounded. And I think Redemption is going to tell a lot. But much like I talked about last year at All Out, we saw the Protostar hang very strong in the main event.
This is the rest of the card? Let me just...
Well, that's the 6th match. The other match is the Gannicker. She has to defend the TBS Championship against Maya World. And the Young Bucks are taking on John Moxley and Will Ospreay.
Well, the Jericho match is just a rematch from Dynamite's 2 weeks ago. So I can, that's like one of those I could do with or without.
Yeah, AEW previews always have those type of matches, and for where they are, they work.
Andrade is gonna have to work through the whole family until he can get added to the main event scene.
How you know?
Of
course, he still has MJF's Dynamite Diamond Ring. I guess Will Ospreay must have gave it to him.
Yep, and then Bandito, man, you know how I feel about Bandito, but I know who's winning that. I'll save it for prediction. But you got the tag match. Right, yeah. C-Squared ain't losing that title for a while. Willow, who doesn't love a Willow?
Soulless individuals.
Exactly. And then the main event. And it's what a coincidence that Kenny Omega wins the title, and then they draw their biggest number on Dynamite. And how long?
I don't look at the numbers, so that's news to me. But either way, I know I'm drawn for what will be at All In if this remains in play, and that is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Considering me and Ash had a unique conversation, so good stuff, Walter. And you all know how I feel about AEW pay-per-views. They are my standard professional wrestling passion. You jet this into my veins. Love covering them, love watching them, always entertained, engaged by them, fully invested in them from top to end, and looking forward to what's next. I'm pretty sure Double or Nothing is still in my top 5 wrestling shows for the year, considering I watch all things wrestling. And Pro Wrestling Wrestle Queendom is still up there, as well as Stardom's Conversion. But that's a whole different conversation for another day.
Nothing was fucking crazy.
That's putting it politely. And again, Svet, you might be onto something. It hasn't happened yet, but considering what the women's division's going, that's still a high potential. I mean, we saw how close Mercedes and Toni Storm was last year at All In. To think what has happened within a freaking year is crazy. But we'll see what happens. All right, Walter, so $50 follow-up for you here. I guess we'll call this topic 2.5. On this past reincarnation or resuscitation of what was the simple session, if people have a working name for that, or you got another name, or you got a jingle apparently for us, let me know, Ash. Stay tuned, folks. You might be getting more of that. We had a little bit of a fun naming game. You're a gamer. You're a wrestling fan. You are All Elite. but you also know The Legend of Zelda. Now, whether or not I'm Link and she's Zelda and Walter is something else in between, like maybe one of the goofy professors, we talked about the Triforce. And of course, the points of the Triforce represent courage, strength, and wisdom. In your opinion, if you were to assign a Triforce surrounded by 3 men bearing each one of those symbols on their hand, what would be your Triforce in AEW representing each of those 3 points?
Ooh, damn. That's a good ass question.
AEW right now, and then we'll talk about the women on the other side. AEW men.
Courage, Bandito. That motherfucker don't back down from nothing. Any challenge that he had,
That's a good shout.
yeah,
That's a very
Bandito
good
do
shout.
not back down from no kind of challenge.
All right.
Wisdom. Shit.
And I would play a Zelda thing, but I know it would get copyright, so I'm not going to do that.
I know. Fuck. Who's very what?
Think about somebody that has really.
You know what?
distilled
Believe
their
it or not,
knowledge.
you know who's really wise because he fucking knows how to keep the family together and get people over. I hate to say it, but Don Callis.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good
Yeah.
shout. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Well, he definitely has been an influence in AEW for many a man.
Mm-hmm. And power. It don't get much more powerful than Bobby Lashley.
And of
Ooh,
course,
that's
the
a
Hurt
really
Business right
good
now.
shout. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
really
they're
good
open for
shout.
business for anyone that wants to pay them to hurt people. All right. Well, that being said, what about the women?
Women. Power, Willow. I love me, Willow. Willow,
I knew that was going to be one of his points.
Courage, Shafir. Because that bitch don't back down from nobody, and she will whoop any man, women, and for that matter, child's ass if you put her in the, ring.
She is the mother. Let's keep that in mind. She is the mother.
Good shout.
Yeah,
That's a
you
really
saw
good
what happened when they
That's
put her
right.
in the ring with her husband.
And he left an impression on her, and I think she liked it.
Right.
I
And
still
they
want him to do
continue-
better.
They continued that when the cameras turned off too, probably.
Well,
Uh,
all right, continue. You still have 1 point left.
Now, who would be the wisdom of the division?
Who's the most wise of the women?
I don't know. Athena, because how the hell she you got to have some wisdom to keep a title past Roman Reigns' fucking reign.
I acknowledge that. That's a fair shout. I like that a lot. Well, again, Ash and I did this past Thursday, this episode. You can go back and, of course, watch that. I had Chris Statlander, of course, for strength. I had Courage, of course, being a little Nightingale, because this bubbly, unorthodox individual has become such a mainstay of this business, always staying true to herself. And as far as wisdom, I think you and I both agree when it came to the most influential individual based on what she's brought in her star power. Whether the color or black and white, we both went with Timeless Tony Storm.
Oh, true.
And as far as wisdom for the man, John Moxley, at the end of the day, what this macabre for the Death Riders has done, reshaping the AEW landscape's attitude, it seems, being the dark and the light and the gray for this company since 2019, it's hard to argue what John Moxley has really brought forward here through AEW. In and out of the ring, who he's influenced, including what feels like a lifelong definition of a mentality with the Death Riders. As far as strength, though, I mean, again, there's a lot of power in the AEW roster. So, I mean...
Yeah, pound for pound, Claudio's one of the strongest.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a fair
that's a
point.
good one.
Absolutely. That's a fair point. But I was going with Konosuke because Konosuke is the complete package, it feels like. And that's kind of where I stand with things. And as far as Courage, Darby Allin, period.
Yeah,
this guy,
that's a good one, yeah.
does not fear death. He challenges it every day. To live
I don't know if that's courage or stupidity that he has.
Sometimes it could be both, honestly. But also outside of that, I would give the Bravo Ospreay the fact that he's coming back from double fusion neck surgery one last chance I honestly, though, like I said, the Triforce, my original Triforce, I still stand by it, though. Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, because they define all three of those terms.
That's what was kind of like, that's what spawned the conversation, because eventually like, well, out of those three, Moxley, Ospreay, and Omega, which of those three represents what in the Triforce? And then we got assigned women.
We juggled the points kind of, and then we came to an agreement when it comes to those three men. Those three men have defined AEW more than anyone else truly consistently in AEW's existence. The women, though, it's kind of been up and down over the board. At one point, it was the drama.
You know who's another? You know who's another good courage for the men?
Yeah, please.
Adam Copeland, because the courage it took to bet on himself at that age to leave the safety net of WWE and go to AEW and use the last tail end of his career to do that and then reunite with Christian. That takes a lot of courage, and to come back from that damn injury he came back from. So
and now he's a tag team champion. One last run with Christian Cage, who's reinvented himself as being an AEW, being everyone's favorite dad. Asshole. My dad's dead. Anyway, all right. Well, good stuff. But overall, let's go from AEW at this point back to the WWE, and let's try and bring that forward. Does WWE have a Triforce that we could actually give these 3 points to? Walter, I'll start with you. Strength, courage, wisdom. Do you have your 3 in WWE that demonstrate that? Can't say the New Day. They're all gone.
It won't be any of the bookers, I can tell you that much.
Definitely for wisdom, for sure, yeah.
Wisdom? What's this wisdom you speak of? We got AI for that. Continue.
I have no idea who the. You know what? Who's wise? Miz. To last that, you can't last 20 plus years and barely ever got injured.
Yeah.
For him to last that long, that's courage. Wisdom, I meant to say.
I'm about to say wisdom is what you got. So you got courage and strength left.
Mrs. Wisdom. Strength. I mean, damn. There's no lack of powerhouses in WWE. Jesus. Ooh. Sorry to hear that. Who the hell is powerful? Oba Femi.
Yes, definitely Oba, yeah.
Yeah, I consider Oba arguably the most powerful athlete in WWE based on the way they have been demonstrating him. That's a fair shout. Now, who's been the most courageous is the question.
With the way this motherfucker puts his body on the line and the moves he puts, and to be so young and have this much thrown at him, I think it's very courage. I think young OG, man.
Oh, Okay. I mean, again, your boy Bancy, but I mean, he's gotten quite a few opportunities currently out of the Intercontinental Championship picture, but we'll see how he bounces back forward. And again, the young OG has had quite an uprise in such a short time, it seems. All right, I like that a lot. For me, wisdom comes down to what do you bestow upon others that they could take away from you that has allowed them to grow more forward in their career. There's not been a lot of that on the mic, honestly. I haven't seen quite that influence from a superstar, but I have seen it from Paul Heyman. When it comes to Paul Heyman, when the man speaks, he knows how to put anything over, anything forward, and anything to move forward, and still actively does it. So I gotta go with Paul Heyman for that. He literally is an integral mouthpiece to drive the WWE scene. Without him, I don't think WWE gets that same level of push for publicity.
His name is literally the wise man.
Yeah, true, right?
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. As far as strength, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I'm not betting against freaking Oba Femi. I mean, that dude is crazy strong, absolutely ballistic what he can do. As far as courage, though, courage means you are able to speak out, stand on your own, and you're not afraid to take a chance. You're also there to try and seize, keyword, seize opportunity. And you've done it over and over and over again, no matter what's been thrown at you. I would say John Cena, but he's retired. So I think right now, just looking at what I've seen this year, as far as the courage to continue to push forward despite what's thrown at you, it'd be easy to say someone that's always at the top, but you also got to look at those that are trying to get to the top, or at least in the mid card. I think hit the nail on the head, though. Javon Evans, who's already been involved in Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, a ladder match at WrestleMania, constant opportunities for the Intercontinental Championship, and he hasn't even been involved in WWE main roster for a year yet. I think potential goes along with courage because you hone that with your potential. I got to go with Javon, so I'm with you there. Ash, what do you think?
So for wisdom, I initially had Seth Rollins.
Oh.
Because he's not only been there for like quite some time, like able to like reinvent himself as like a character, but he's also able to learn from his own mistakes and better himself as a person, and that also takes a lot of wisdom to do as well.
Fair shout.
Powered Obafemi, definitely, like, because you see that, man, like that boy's a powerhouse. Like,
the guy can shoot a shot put halfway across Canada, probably. Continue.
Right? And for courage, you can also make the argument for Sami Zayn as well for courage.
Huh.
Because he's been there like for quite some time. He's like bet on himself and he's stayed true to his morals, even though he goes to Saudi Arabia. And that takes a lot of courage to do.
All right, fair shout out, and everyone's been there, and Sami Zayn has made himself persistent mainstay of WWE, even with the stupidest of bookings, Johnny Knoxville. But all right, I like that a lot. All right, well now you know what we gotta do now. The women. Good luck with this one. Ash, ladies first.
All right. Wisdom. That's a good question.
Right.
Justified knowledge of a standpoint of this business and of her character that has been honed in not only by herself, but clearly exposed onto others and influenced them.
Becky embodies that.
The man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being able to find ways to like keep yourself, like it's the same thing with take what I said about Seth Rollins. That can also apply to Becky as well.
I'm about to say, you realize you picked literally Seth and Becky, the couple.
Yes. I know this says a lot about me.
I got my courage. I got my wisdom. It's strength I'm debating.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if she influences you because she still has 2 more points. Go ahead. This is fun.
Courage. You know, Stephanie Becker could be courage because it takes a lot of strength to bet on yourself. And because I've like you hear her story of how where she's from, Chile, they didn't have wrestling there, and it took, and also not only that, but also like getting to like a new place, learning a whole new language, learning about yourself as well, redefining who you are, like figuring out you as a person. You can also probably say that to like a lot of the foreign wrestlers as well. Like you can even make the argument like Julia could fit in there as well for courage.
Yeah. It's one I was thinking about. All right. And one last point.
Power.
The power.
I'm so stuck with this.
Yeah.
I love this. The power.
Oh, Rhea Ripley.
Thank you.
Rhea
Ripley. Come on now.
Yeah, this is like, who is it? Oh, yeah, Ripley.
All right.
Rhea Ripley.
Thank you. I was waiting for that name. Come on.
I got Becky, Becker, and Ripley, a.k.a. all 3 of my favorite women.
And not just for a certain position, which I'm sure this Goober would agree with you with.
Yeah,
and 2 of them have done it together. All right.
I mean this both literally and figuratively. I miss Stephanie Becker's ass.
Boy.
You and me both.
All right. Well, thank you, Ash. Walter, you're freaking Triforce for the women in WWE. Go ahead.
Strength. I am stuck between 4 people, and I'm trying to eliminate it.
Good
I am
luck.
stuck between Jade Cargill, Jordan Grace, Kylie Armstrong, and Bianca Belair. Because
Oh,
those
that's a
four
good
are some
shout,
strong
yeah.
ass.
They're all good.
Mm-hmm.
She is the strongest, but right now she's also the pregnant.
Uh-huh. Jade Cargill with
Okay.
Jordan Grace is just as strong. Shit,
Yeah,
yeah.
both are fair shouts.
Gotta say, Fig Mama pump for a reason. Holla if you hear me.
Courage, I think, to come back after so much time off. You never know if you still have it. She's an advocate for mental health. She's an advocate for all these things. So for courage, I'm going with AJ Lee because it takes a lot of courage to come back and be away for that long.
Respect.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jesus. Wisdom. I'm gonna go with Natty. I don't think no one possesses more information in her head about the wrestling business than Natty. And I think she's forgot more than most people have learned.
That's true, yeah. And she's doing very well training down in the dungeon. That's a really good shout, yeah.
So, good stuff by both of you, and I will tell you this. You hit two of my points with some of the names you mentioned. When it came to wisdom, it was Natty from the get-go. Again, I call her a locker room leader for generations for a reason. And now honing in truly into this character that defines what she is. Respect that name, bitch. Natty. Let's get Natty some fucking gold and respect. Already pushing herself against the running star right now in WWE for the women, Kendall Gray. I absolutely love that, but yeah, Natty's definitely the one for wisdom. As far as strength, again, Rhea Ripley, mommy's always on top. Rhea Ripley, pound for pound, one of the strongest individuals, and I'm not just saying that physically. Seeing her journey morphing from the blonde rugby player into this ultimate badass and everyone's wet dream in a dark red room with Judgment Day, further honing in on her attitude. It definitely, for me, comes down to the strength in more ways than one for Rhea Blade Ripley, who decided to become Rhea Blade Ripley her own way, as much as she said on Steph's story. As far as courage, courage is about standing up for what you believe in and what you do and who you are, no matter what others may figure about what you are or what you do or who you want to be. It's Bailey, who literally came through this as a fan, literally with reports in school when people are like, are you crazy? And a young girl, the last of the four horsemen, to really get that push forward, but then realize, okay, I'm here. The hugger thing's not working. I gotta change. I gotta be something different. Going to business for herself, honestly becoming the woman of the pandemic, as much sadness as that is, and literally redefining that character back to a state of familiarity to become a hybrid of the hugger in this role model stage where she is such an influence, not only in that locker room, but women's wrestling in general. If you look at her Lone Stone tours, Bailey is the embodiment of empowerment for a woman in this wrestling business, in my opinion, from all walks and forms of life. So that's my Triforce. I got Bailey, Rhea, and Natty. And honestly, if I was starting a wrestling company, that's the three I would start with.
Fair shout, yeah.
Kendall Gray has an honorable mention because Kendall Gray has all the tools to become the Kurt Angle of the women's wrestling business if WWE actually respects grapplers.
For wisdom, I was also going to say Io Sky as well.
Venus of the Sky, of course.
I couldn't give it to anybody but Natty because you don't last this long in the company without having wisdom.
That's a really good point.
And I mean the name Heart coming from this dude, it's in her DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, for some people, wrestling is in their DNA, whether you're a worker, commentator, spectator, reporter, reviewer. And of course, most of these fans apply to Aaron Riff. So for those that are watching the NoDQ Gals YouTube channel, say, yeah, to NoDQ. Subscribe today at NoDQ.com. Follow them on the X and subscribe today to Suburban Studios, also on the X at SR Studios 24. We not only do this on a weekly basis, sometimes with me in the hot seat, other times the usual host, the regular wrestling JJ Williams in the hot seat. He'll be here shortly. So stay tuned for more on that as we do this every week, Saturday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If JJ wants to play this game, then you better get in here before that clock hits its time to actually try and get your sense in. Otherwise, you do this on your own special shenanigans because I'm the host tonight, player. That being said, thank you. This is what I do all the time. I am a simple man, lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. And you are awesome. And all of you are awesome. And I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. Who demonstrates the most courage, strength, wisdom? Those names, apply them to each point. We're men and women in WWE, in AEW, in your favorite wrestling company. Because those three tools, those three traits embody so much for individuals to be encouraged by and to be carried forward through, whether inadvertently or whether alongside them as a tag team or mentorship capacity. That has defined so many people in the professional wrestling business and fans alike too. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this little fun segment I came up with on behalf of Ash and I from our simple session. If you want to see more of this stuff, stay tuned to see what's ahead. With that in mind, we're going to take another commercial break, and now it's open mic night. So anybody can say anything that's on their mind for any company or anything wrestling, and that includes you all in the chat, as you now will be acknowledged and dictate the conversation after this commercial break, when we return to the last part of the Saturday Shenanigans. See you shortly.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And as always, here at the Super Level Studios, for those that are tuning in for the first time, here at SRS, we truly encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to all the wrestling. And of course, your opinions matter too. But as always, I like to encourage, respect one another, support each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just your life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that. And welcome back in here to the Saturday Shenanigans. I have been your host for the festivities this evening, Silverman Noel Foster, No DQ, in conjunction with the Predicting Leagues, Predictions League booker and scorer, and also, of course, post-show analysis cohort alongside Papagino at Papagino017. Follow him on the YouTube today and say, yeah, to No DQ, Aaron Rip, as always, who's encouraged all of us here to not only share our opinions, but showcase what it means to be a professional wrestling fan in and out of the No DQ review and the weekly recaps that he does too. Now, respect to you, boss man. Appreciate you. Take care always. I hope that you all have enjoyed this conversation. We're getting down to the wire here, is what I usually like to call a fun 2-hour soiree conversation, whether I moderate or participate. So that being said, Ash, anything further on your mind regarding wrestling that you want to give a shout out to or discuss or just have a thought to bring forward here?
Can we talk about the Stardom?
All right.
All right. So the Triangle of Madness, they are the trios champions, yes?
Correct.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't happy about that.
And why is that?
Stop me if you've heard this before. Oh my God, it's AEW people winning titles from another promotion they're partnered with. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, a lot of things, but continue.
So, I have mixed feelings about this. Because on the one hand, yeah, I get where they're coming from because, you know, it's happened a lot where AEW wrestlers win the titles from their partner promotions, yet we haven't seen it the other way around yet, which makes people think this is one-sided and that AEW's reaping all the benefits of the partnerships. It does come across that way. On the other hand, Tekla is at war with Stardom.
And she has prior history in Stardom as part of Donald Del Mundo, Women Who Play in the World, and is a former Artist of Stardom champion and is basically mentoring Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue, which encourages these three to compete more in Stardom.
And that's the point I was going to get at, is that with those three in Stardom, they're going to be featured quite a bit on Stardom, adds to the story of Tekla versus Stardom. And then whoever wins those titles off of the Triangle of Madness, they are going to be instantly made. Like, they're going to be like the top baby faces. And hopefully whoever gets those titles off them, they have like a very solid run. Like, they are like they become the faces of Stardom, whomever that tag team is.
I've seen it many a times at Stardom Queendom at the end of the year, how many times these titles have changed hands and defined professional wrestlers' career. But that being said, like I said, when it comes to Julia's influence on Tekla, when they used to be an ice ribbon, and of course she came over, this Austrian badass, this punk rocker, this artist, of course, has her own gallery in New York, and has done so much in literally 1 year and 3 months since being here in America at AEW. It's quite tremendous, and I do think there's a certain dynamic that Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue bring the best out of each other as equals. I've already seen the Sisters of Sin, of course, Sky Blue and Julia Hart involved in Pro Wrestling Eve in tag team action against Pro Wrestling Eve champions. Sky Blue just beat a former Pro Wrestling Eve standout in Sammy J. You all know her as Emerson J. And she's looking to head back there, of course, to go after more gold. And now we have Tekla here with more gold and going after, of course, not only more in Stardom, but obviously looking to continue to hold control here in AEW Women's Division, where she's been the mainstay champion since January. The way I look at it is this. We are looking at partners of the promotions. WWE has their Fabulous Five. AEW has theirs. For AEW, though, the fact of the matter that this has continuity, considering Tekla has history in Stardom, it only benefits Julia Hart and Sky Blue. To AEW's credit, they have showcased this chosen promotion very heavily during this season, bringing more eyes to these names from Stardom and the Stardom product in a way, because, of course, AEW is showcased in Japan. Bushiroad, TV partnership or not, both sides still are getting that attention on each other. And the fact that Collision acknowledging this happening in Stardom, by the way, goes to show that they're trying to talk about this on both sides. So to your point, maybe at first it wasn't like that, and maybe it is a matter of AEW talent having gold from their promotion, but at least they're actually acknowledging it. And Stardom, much like Chris Charlton, who could be very biased at times to AEW, Stardom's aware of this imminent threat, but at least Tekla has familiarity, which draws eyes to Stardom and AEW. Unlike an unknown seizing the title from across the world like Konosuke did, because he never was involved in New Japan prior, but we saw what happened there. So I'm happy for this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this dynamic carries out in Stardom, but also affects the mentality of these three in AEW. Because right now, you're not having the Sisters of Sin going after Divine Dominion. I sense a couple of Buds or Maya Ward and Hyon before that. You're not having Tekla right now dealing with both the Stardom World Champion and the AEW Women's World Championship. And again, it goes back to what Tekla declared, this ongoing narrative to kill her former promoter, to embarrass them from within. Embarrass Starlight Kid, take the Trios Championships. Where we go from here, maybe something comes out of the Firestar Grand Prix. So I absolutely love this. But again, looking at WWE, the AAA Mega Championship, of course, Dominic Mysterio, has he defended on Raw? No. Has he come out with lately on Raw? No. I don't even know if he has that championship anymore. I think El Hijo del Vikingo does. But it's all a matter of perspective and how you bring attention to said promotion. For AEW and Stardom, they're both doing that.
And I will say this about, even though the main title for AAA hasn't been defended on the programming, their cruiserweight championship has been on being at least defended on back-to-back episodes of SmackDown. So at least they're doing something with the mid card. But it would be nice if they actually showcased their main title.
I thought that was being defended on NXT by El Hijo. All right.
I haven't been keeping up with NXT, so.
Well, that's fair. I mean,
I stand corrected on that front. If it has been defended on NXT, then awesome.
Yeah. And I don't need to say A at the end of a sentence or bro at the end of a sentence just to sound like somebody. But I do see, of course, what he's referring to there. Sometimes you just go on a bit of pontification and you just see what people carry through with it. Bro. You're funny, UT. I got you. All right. Well, that being said, again, I'm curious to see what happens in Stardom for the 5-Star Grand Prix, Triangle of Madness influence, and how it affects the AEW Women's World Championship scene and the tag team scene. But like I said, Sky Blue, she already declared she's going to Pro Wrestling Eve in August. For those that don't know, that's the all-women promotion in the UK. And I highly encourage you to go watch it on YouTube at Pro Wrestling Eve YouTube channel. Dan Reed, Will Ospreay, Jetta, and Emily, they do a lot of great work there. And so does Nina Samuels, who I believe is pregnant. But yeah, again, there's not much more to say besides that. So as we get down to the wire here, someone, I guess, wants to join the conversation real quick. So I'll go ahead and let him take things over here for a little bit because, like I said, you already pissed me off. You only got 10 minutes left. Let's go ahead and see what JJ has to say. Please welcome in the original moderator of Shenanigans, host of Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. JJ, how are you?
Why did Ash piss you off?
Don't look back.
I made a very naughty joke.
When don't
Anyway.
you?
It depends on the context, and also depends whether or not you're actually the one hosting. Me, I have a very short leash for tolerance. Anyway, JJ, go ahead. How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm tired.
Yeah, what else is new? That's the story of my life. I live tired. Somehow I still operate with all of you. Continue.
That's it, really. Like, I'm tired. I'm sorry for being here so freaking late. You know,
It's all
it
good.
just kind of is what it is.
Indeed, sometimes.
But you know, I wanted to get here as quick as I could because I heard y'all playing a cool little game, and I wanted to get in on it. And, you know.
All right. Fine.
So,
I'll
what's
let you do it.
what's the concept of this game, sir?
So it's a little bit of a naming game because, again, I like to imply video games and wrestling and just fun activities sometimes. We are talking about the Triforce of wrestling. When it
So
comes
you're
to
on
the
a Zelda
Triforce,
kick.
exactly. And of course, each point of the Triforce demonstrates a different strength, or excuse me, trait. 1 point is courage, 1 point is strength, 1 point is wisdom. So we went around the horn and picked names for each point for both men and women in both the Fed and AEW. So that being said, as we wrap things up here soon, why don't you go ahead and lend your thoughts? I will give you this to start with because you're more familiar. Fed, men, who is the courage, strength, and wisdom?
Wisdom. Are we going with anybody within the Fed or just active wrestlers?
Active.
So it can't be like a manager or anything?
If they are an active player in the company, it is
All I
allowed.
needed to know. All I needed to know. So for wisdom, can you guys hear me? Because I've frozen up on my screen.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there it goes. For wisdom, I'm going Paul Heyman.
That's what we all said.
It's like he's called the wise man for a reason.
That's what she said. Continue. This is awesome.
If I were to give it to an actual competitor, though, I'd go with Orton.
That was not a name said.
24 years in the company under the learning tree of Triple H and Ric Flair in his infancy, then created the new legacy, which produced, the QB1 for the company. So,
You've been watching long enough.
So, I'm gonna go Heyman. But if I have to pick an actual competitor, I'll go Orton as far as wisdom goes.
Fair enough. I respect you justifying both sides of the ring. Continue.
For strength, how do you not go with Braun Breaker?
Ooh, I wasn't thinking that. That's a very good show.
I give him speed more than strength, but I do see what you mean.
I mean, his uncle was a genetic freak.
Accurate.
True, yeah. Yeah, I can't argue that.
All right. I like the fact he picked something that I didn't expect, and no one else picked that either.
Courage, I'm going to go Cody. Think about it. Dude walked away from a cush paycheck as Stardust, bet on himself, essentially started a whole other company with some friends, but, you know.
Yeah.
And then when he felt like shit was going south at the other place, walked away from the company he started to come back.
All right. That's very fair. I do like that a lot. Continue.
Yeah, you know, it was funny. I was initially going to say Cody Rhodes for my pick for Courage, but then I went with I went with someone else instead.
Yeah, I think Walter again went your boy Bouncy.
Just hearing Ash say that she considered Cody shocks me because I know she can't stand it.
Well, for the same reasons you mentioned, left the company, bet on himself, came back, even though he was very comfortable elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, Courage, again, you can almost apply that to anybody that did either come in here or left and came back, much like Delta from Australia, Zarya, who is the NXT Women's North American Champion. Potential is definitely there with the fact she is finally standing out as herself, and so far successfully defended the NXT Women's North American Championship. But right now, I guess we're just leaving it to the main roster because, again, there is that level of experience and recognition. But I appreciate the outlook, of course, by the chat as well. But now that being said, you picked your men. Now the women.
All right. So this is where I kind of came in and hearing you guys chat was the Fed women. So as far as wisdom, I was torn between two. And y'all pretty much glorified Natty, as well you should.
Duh.
The other one I was thinking about, honestly, for this one was Bailey. Because of her lodestone camps, because of the fact that she's trying to get the next generation ready, you know, because of the fact that for whatever reason, they're not pushing her the way they push the other horsewomen. So she's being mama bear. You know, so I'm very torn there between Natty and Bailey, but since everybody praised my future wifey, you know, I'll go ahead and I'll give Bailey her flowers here in this one.
All right.
For strength, Walter listed like all the people, but I'm going to go with the woman who, while still out of action, going on about a year and a half at this point, is the roughest, the toughest, the strongest, the one who put the EST in WrestleMania. Going Bianca.
All right.
Because when you look at her frame, you don't expect her to be that strong. When you look at a Jordan Grace and her build and her frame, you expect her to be strong. To your point, she's called Thick Mama Pump for a reason. You know, but you look at someone as tiny as Bianca, and you don't expect her to have that strength. So the deceptiveness is why I'm giving her the edge there. Don't judge a book by its cover.
It's fair. And your last point.
For courage, I'm surprised I didn't hear anybody say this one. I've got 3 words for you. Proceed with caution.
Naomi!
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah.
Again, much like I said for Cody, Funkadactyl reinvented herself as a competitor, walked out on the company with the boss, bet on herself, ran the Impact Knockouts division for a year and a half, almost 2 years, came back, picked up right where she left off, won Money in the Bank, great cash in, and then found out she was pregnant and had to leave everything high and dry to go start a family.
Fair. That's fair. All right. Well, great job with the Feds Triforce. And again, folks, you can go back and find out which one gives you the greatest tribute to beat Lord Gandalf if you choose to face him without the Master Sword. That's entirely up to you, whether it's in Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, or the remake, I believe, of what was the last one they just? Oh, it was Ocarina of Time that was the remake that they did. Because prior to that, there was Wind Waker, and then some of their own games, etc. Again, not a video game podcast. You can go look at Pop Culture Paragon maybe for more of that. But that being said, JJ, your AEW Triforce for the men and women. Why don't you go ahead and start off more with the women on that side?
This is going to be the toughest one for me. You know what? Go ahead and do Emmanuel's super chat real quick while I think about some of these.
Oh, look at that. All right.
Give me 1 second because the microwave just dinged too. So I'm going to be off camera. Okay. When I come back, I'll have some of these for you.
Okay, absolutely. I love that. And thank you to Emmanuel. Emmanuel with a $5 super chat. Keeping the conversation going here. Well, you know, we got a super chat here on the Shenanigans. I didn't expect that to happen. Let me go ahead and get my Emmanuel voice ready, quote unquote. Man, I miss the days when they reversed the call due to not listening to the referees saying to stop. What happened to the referees, like, trying to control the match? It just seems like the inmates run wild and everybody just wins at any time without rhyme or reason. What happened to the referees actually having the authority to officiate? It just seems so lazy anymore in the WWE booking. Again, nothing but love for Emmanuel. Go follow me Interactive Games and Movies. The only reason I criticize those, like a Gilbert Godfrey roast, is because I care about them. I mean, Ash, what's your fair take on this? I mean, VAR, of course, is a thing that people clamor for in football. They don't get that. The World Cup, I think, is still like wrapping up. But what's your take on the referees just basically letting all hell break loose and being like, fuck it, it's the result?
I guess like they're really like being so lenient on the referee's discretion trope right now.
Especially when it's a title match. Like, I feel like more discretion needs to be taken for title matches because you don't want every title match to end with a DQ.
Right.
Or some kind of shady finish. I mean, we had 4 years of that with the Bloodline.
Accurate.
I mean, if it like this, doing this like is fine if the story calls for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want there's a time and place when you should follow the rules and when it's okay to break the rules, storyline angle depending.
Yeah.
And then there's the aftermath where an opponent goes so far to continually assault their defeated opponent that the referees don't do nothing, and you think security and the officials are actually going to try and get involved and stop it from happening, and don't, and the decision stands. It just feels like to me like, okay, what's the point of having any sort of officiating over, here's the winner, and at the end of the day, they're still an a-hole. And you still consider them the winner when they really shouldn't be. I think that's also another thing that he's pointing out as well. Not just like, the leniency during a match, but after too, especially when it comes to an aftermath against the defeated, unable to defend themselves. And I figured he's referring to what happened on Saturday's main event. In case you don't know, JJ, Lyra beat the piss out of Bailey 2
I'm
times
not
over flight.
I'm not surprised.
And he echoed my sentiments. There you go. They just don't do that anymore. I mean, I wanted to make sure that Bailey was put away forever out of her past. That's the way to doing it.
Forever.
Forever and ever and ever. That being said, thank you, Emmanuel, for that super chat discussion. At the end of the day, let hell run loose, even in the Madison Square Garden. New York's used to riots anyway, so, it was a contained
This
riot.
is accurate. Well, yeah, this is accurate.
And
I
that's
was going to say LA is more used to it, but
Man, I just know based on context. I've never even been to both places. And now returning back, thank you, and let's get our super chat. Thank you, Emmanuel. JJ, your Triforce for AEW, starting with the women. Go ahead, good sir.
All right, so strength. I don't think this will surprise anybody, especially knowing my love for her. She is called the Babe with the Power.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm going for my future baby mama, Willow Nightingale.
That's what Noah and I said too for strength.
Strength and or courage. I was juggling with it too. But continue.
For wisdom, I'm torn between two. Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa.
Oh, Thunder Rosa, that's a good show. We didn't think that.
I mean, she does offer a ton of veteran experience. Former MMA fighter turned wrestler, literally ran her own promotion. So there you go.
I was going to say the running of her own promotion, which sadly Mission Pro has since folded, but the fact that she ran it for as long as she did, Ren Sinclair, Roxanne Perez, Izzy Moreno, Maya World, all people that have come through her doors that she's helped mentor along the way, who are now on our television screens on a regular basis. Really torn between those two as far as the knowledge portion, the wisdom.
Fair enough.
As far as courage, and it goes back to my pick for the Fed, I'm going with Mercedes. Same reasons, more or less. I mean, she walked away from the WWE because she felt she deserved better. And whether I like her or don't, and everybody knows that I don't.
Oh, yeah.
You can't deny that she has done at least as good as, if not better than, what she was doing in WWE.
Many would say better, considering her success rate outside the Fed across the entire worldwide wrestling scene.
And how much of that is her stipulations for going to these promotions? How much of that is what the promotions are willing to give her? That remains to be seen. I mean, when bands play a venue, they have their little list of what they must have to play a concert at that venue. How do we know that Mercedes doesn't have one of these? Oh, if Rev Pro wants to book me, I need this, 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 and this.
You will never know.
Exactly. So we don't know if it's stipulations laid down by Mercedes herself or what the promotions are willing to give her.
Yeah.
That withstanding, though, like I said, you can argue whether she's done as good as, because her star and her stock could have very easily fallen leaving WWE. And it's at least at the same level, as it was. Again, some would argue it's higher. Some would argue it's at the same. Let them have that fight.
Yeah. Don't start fires that you don't necessarily need to leave a spark with, or you don't want to extinguish. And that includes those in and out of the internet. That being said, thank you, JJ. Tremendous Triforces across both the big company scenes, that it seems, as we get ready to wrap up the Shenanigans.
Got to do the men for AEW.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about the men, because usually we like men and women. Go ahead.
So for courage, I'm going with the best bout machine.
Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that's what we went with too, right?
Because the
Second chance.
diverticulitis and everything, you know. For strength, for power. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
I'm seeing flashing lights outside my window.
We might have a disturbing situation here. Stay tuned, folks. The shenanigans continue as we get ready to wrap up here. And Ash is already tranquilo. Again, sometimes we just take a stance in our own variation on the finger. If you know, you know, folks. But that being said, I was also going to point out here real quick and a little bit of wrestling wrap-up. Shout out to TNA that continues for the inaugural TNA Knockout Television Tournament. Via Hill did advance over very game Harley Hudson. And in the other match, it was M Elegance that was able to beat Rosemary thanks to the Elegance brand's influence. Again, fuck the Elegance brand. As, of course, there is only 2 first-round matches left. Wendy Chu will take on Elena Black. That's Wendy Chu from NXT taking on TNA's Elena Black. And the other match, Jada Stone will take on Alicia Edwards to round out the quarterfinals. I believe number 8. And then, of course, we continue forward here in this tournament to crown this champion. That will only be defending this title weekly, it seems, or showcasing it seems, on weekly at TNA.
I hope so. It's a TV title.
That's what they said they're going to do. But again, if they become the Fed, it's not the first time that we've seen something live. But that's a whole different conversation another day. Anyways, continuing forward here, JJ, everything okay?
Yeah, it looks like it's just the neighbor's house.
Okay, good. Keep that beef away from you. Back to the men.
Yeah, for real. So, okay, so for courage, it was Kenny. For strength, power, whatever you want to call it, I'm going with the Almighty. I'm going Bobby Lashley.
That's what Walter said too.
They hurt people.
And for knowledge, I'm going with a man who's performed for WWF. He's performed for WCW. He's performed for NWA. Matter of fact, he founded TNA.
Oh.
He is the chosen one.
We didn't think of that.
JEFF JARRETT. Big G's favorite wrestler. Ain't he great? But on a serious tip, I mean, 3rd generation promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Been in the business since like 1986. Multi-time champion, let alone world champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good shout. None of us thought of Double J. That's a good shout.
Which surprises me, considering the whole dark side the last 2 weeks was Jeff Jarrett.
Yes,
the season premiere was a 2-hour premiere last week, and then this week, part 3 was an hour.
Yeah, I heard of that. You know, I don't watch the dark side. I only look towards the brighter side of things, but that makes sense.
This wasn't as dark as Dark Side generally is. A lot of people were complaining that it was a fluff piece on Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was a really good 3-hour story, you know, just like Gilligan's Island, a 3-hour story.
The only 3-hour story I could ever recall seeing was Scarface, but that's a different conversation for another day. Anyway.
That was a good 3-hour story, too.
Yeah, damn right it was. And great video game. And
Say
also...
hello to my little friend.
You want to go to war? Okay, I'm thinking of war. Anyway, thank you, JJ. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in as we wrap up things here. So there you have it. That has been our discussion on who exhibits strength, wisdom, and courage across AEW and WWE for the men and the women of professional wrestling. Have any of these been the same thoughts as you? Do any of these names echo towards you in any of those traits, whether in a WWE Create a Superstar video game? But nonetheless, I hope that y'all enjoyed the conversation and the impromptu shenanigans. Before we conclude, we're going to run the watch-along trailer one more time to let you know what's ahead. And then on the other side, we will plug, shill, and bid you a fine adieu. Stay tuned.
And now for a taste of things to come.
Always a fan of the classics, Habanero. And shout out to Carmen. Oh, and as always, here at the Simple Bible Studios, as that trailer shows you, here we truly encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to all the wrestling. And welcome back in here to what will be the conclusion of tonight's Saturday Shenanigans. As I thank you all once again for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed. If you haven't already, please subscribe, comment, tell a friend, subscribe today to all the outlets here across the Simple Bible Studios network. Follow us today on the X at SR Studios 2024 for more debates on Jada when it comes to the fact that we have an undisputed WWE Championship on the line at SummerSlam, and also further shenanigans and conversations to continue. And so, yeah, to No DQ, follow Aaron Rip on YouTube today, and follow on the X at NoDQ.com, and use the hashtag NoDQGalaxy to be part of the continued conversation, and stay tuned for further prediction leagues as the AEW League picks up once again next week. That being said, to get to next week, we have to finish off this week, and that's what we're about to do. So let's get the F out of here and get some Z's before Sunday comes forward too. First and foremost, Ash, always a pleasure. You and I, of course, will have further discussions in and out of the green room regarding G1 Climax, as well as the next time we have a session. So tell where the people can find you and where should they subscribe to.
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBatAsh, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Batty for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead.
There you go, folks. Again, ShadowBatAsh on the X and on the YouTube at Batty for Wrestling. Bloody lover of the Techers and Zack Sabre Jr.
Doesn't Zack Sabre Jr. look so good with an IWGP heavyweight title?
Well, that's the Cody Rhodes one. The version 4, wait and find out. He is still in the G1. And he's currently right now on a good run. Gotta watch today's and watch the tomorrow coming up. Thank you, Ash.
Look out for G1 coverage.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be more of that and backbreaker breakdowns to come, folks. I assure you. Thank you for those, by the way, that tuned into our opening day last weekend. Kanosuke Yosuji stole the night, as well as Dyson Jr. and Shota Umino. Great now we're off in Chicago. And thank you for those that tuned in, of course, to our Batty Bracket breakdown. Stay tuned for more G1 Climax reactions, coverage, and outtakes, and bracket updates throughout the month. Date and time to be determined exclusively at Batty for Wrestling and the Sylvans brand. Thank you, Ash.
Recovery to Shota Umino. Come back soon. Get what's rightfully yours, that global title. Bring it back to where it belongs.
Well, yeah, and right now, good luck to everybody dealing with Gabe Kidd, who this year is going through without injury. We'll see how far and how much dangerous he is. All right, and what the hell? There's a debate for you, Noah, to be a master soundtrack or a Sonic soundtrack. Nothing outbeats a Sonic soundtrack in my life. And you might get more of this tune-based thought later on this week. Stay tuned.
I'm not going to do very well, but I'll have fun trying.
I expect you to do adequate. JJ, always a pleasure, even towards the tail end. Again, this is the money you're trying to make to get through life and take care of priorities of our passions. Nothing but love to you. Go ahead and shield your stuff, man, and where can people connect and find you? I leave you to the buttons.
Well, good sir, you can find me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams, on YouTube Casa D18 Studios. X is Casa D18 Studio, no S at the end. Isn't that such a fantastic graphic, Noah? And then, of course, make sure you're following us at the Simply Reliable Studios at SR Studios 2024 on X, where we're broadcasting now, where we broadcast some of our watch-alongs, where we make all of our big announcements. Go back in the archives and check out the interview we did this week with the Bionic Baddie, Kiera Hogan. Make sure you tune in this coming week, as we will be having the Babushka Baron, Jeffrey John, on the show. And then the week after that, we got the former Joe Gacy coming on. Keep that pose, Noah.
What? Forget, you might as well just be playing Joe Gacy's theme. I ain't doing that again. You got it once. You can go back and recap it.
Damn
Bloody
it.
hell. The man that made a smile sticker a gimmick on a rotten tree. Continue.
But yeah, check out all that stuff. You know, the interview with Kiera Hogan, I swear, I think we spent as much time with her off the air as we did on the air.
Oh, nice.
We were asked by her management to keep it around 35, 45 minutes, and we respected that timeline with her on the air. But then once we got off the air, she was like, we could have kept going. I was fine. Like, I just was going with what the management asked me to do. And me and Walter literally chatted with her for like a good half hour or so off the air.
I love that.
She was such a sweetheart. So again, go back in the archives. It's on Noah's channel. It's on my channel. I believe it's on Ash's channel. It's on all the channels of the Simply Reliable Studios. The interview with Kiera Hogan.
All right.
And the Bionic Baddie is a nickname that Walter actually bestowed on her. And she said she's going to start using.
Oh, okay then. Bring an endorsement by Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz. And that's on period. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for that, JJ. And that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. As I said earlier, if you haven't already, we are the Super Reliable Studio. If you're tuning in for the first time on the No DQ Galaxy YouTube channel, if you're already subscribed there, subscribe everywhere. Again, follow the Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz, at Walter Alex Cruz on the X, and the Mothership, if you will, on YouTube. Give him 300, and let's see what we can do to him going forward in his proverbial virtual future. Tilla was in the chat. You saw her earlier. Our My Morphin Pig Power Ranger. Follow her when it's wrestling time at Rangers of Wrestling on the X and on YouTube, X to Tilla _. And of course, follow her newer venture on the X at PC Powerbomb. As you see right there, for further Mighty Morphin coverage and outtakes on anime and so much more, with Power Rangers at the forefront. It's always Morphin time when the Tilla is at the forefront, with or without the pink helmet. If you know, folks. You heard JJ, you heard Ash, you know where we're at. If you don't know, you see it, go there, do it, follow, subscribe, simple as that. As far as me, find me if you choose, and then Foster 1916 on the X and on YouTube. For I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! Again, you'll find me later this week as we head into AEW Redemption. There will be some predicting for the AEW pay-per-view, as well as Prediction League's form for the All Elite League. And, of course, our live watch-along coverage this coming weekend with Prediction League breakdown to follow with me and Papagino. Of course, following this weekend's coverage of this All Elite pay-per-view. And, again, there might be something else in store for you, too, with me and the Bat. Stay tuned for more on that. Exclusively at the Silverman's brand. and at Batty for Wrestling. And as always, I'll leave you with an Impact. This Thursday night, we continue covering the Knockouts Television Championship Tournament, where this week will be the concluding opening rounds. Elena Black takes on Winnie Chu as Alicia Edwards takes on The Spark, Jada Stone. Who rounds out the field of 8? Stay tuned. JJ, I see your hand. What you got to say real quick?
Who won the match that Thea was involved in?
Harley Hudson lost against Thea Hill. Thea Hill has advanced.
Yes.
She's in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew this man was going to be happy. And she will be taking on Indy Hartwell in her quarterfinal match.
Crap.
So good luck to both. And good luck to everybody still.
Indy's winning.
And she better. I need to see an impressive win. I'm just saying. But again, congratulations. Why she's got her moment the first time she crossed the line.
Yeah, I'm just happy that she advanced. I told you we needed somebody from NXT to move on, get into the quarterfinals. I didn't expect her to move past that, but at least she qualified. Yay me. Go Thea.
He's always going to support that young Thea Hill.
Damn right.
All right, fair enough. I respect that commitment. I respect everyone's commitment that's continued to tune in here, as I want to remind you and encourage you that there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters, just fans' own opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. To rescue your families and just your life. And if you're about for wrestling, it's truly as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bells, video goes live with man on any of the outlets here in and out of the studios and the No DQ Galaxy YouTube channel. And hit that subscribe button, because I assure you, the content, the creativity, the conversation, the passion, the insanity, sometimes towards the expense of my dignity, is not going to let up anytime soon. But what will let up now is my voice, as I bid you all a fine adieu. For Ash, for Walter, for JJ, and for all of you, I am the Seminole Foster. Thank you all once again. And until next time, we are on YouTube in your feed or on your X, maybe on your phone screen. Make a pause, Impact in life. Have a good night, and thank you for tuning in once again to another rousing edition of the Saturday Shenanigans. Have a good night, folks, and we'll see you next time here in and out of the Simply Reliable Studios. Take care.
Noah, cut the fucking feed.
With pleasure.